Good morning. So today is a pretty special day. First of all, it's Finland's Independence Day. Secondly, there is some exciting stuff happening later tonight. But first of all, I am currently in my art studio, and as you can see behind me, there has been quite a bit of stuff happening in here. And I think I need to give quite a big update, but let's start from the beginning.
About a year and a half ago, I asked on social media about people's experiences moving to the countryside, and I think starting that conversation was what really got the universe and this dream of mine moving. I grew up in a pretty large Finnish city, but I have spent a lot of time in the countryside throughout my life. I always felt most at home close to nature and in places where I can spend time with animals, and where I have the space to be creative and feel inspired. So I told myself that one day I will buy a big house and move to the countryside where I have the space to create art, build a business, and adopt all the homeless animals I can take care of. However, being a self-employed artist and a student really had me thinking that this wasn't possible for quite some time. But hey, a girl can dream. Turns out speaking about that dream out loud was all it took, and things started to fall into place way quicker than I expected. See, there was this very special place that my family members had been renting for almost 20 years. It's an almost 100-year-old farm in the Finnish countryside. It's a big house, a stable, and a lot of space and endless possibilities. And now it was time for my family members to move elsewhere, and the owners of the property were planning on eventually selling it. Now I couldn't see any possible way of me buying this on my own. But I did jump at the opportunity to rent the place to try out and see how I like living in the countryside. And of course I loved it, and so did my dog. And we spent the most amazing summer at this place. I think it was very clear that this home was meant for us. So my mom said, I've been looking for a place to spend the summers outside of the city and I haven't found the right place yet. How about I buy this place and you can rent it until you're ready to be a homeowner yourself? She gets a place for the summer and someone to take care of it for the rest of the year, and I could continue to live here. And that's how my near impossible dream of buying a farm in the countryside became a reality in a year and a half.
So now that I know that I will be staying in this home, I could finally do something that I have been planning to do for at least 6 months, if not more. I had it in my mind even earlier, but I've been waiting to do this all summer and all autumn. and it's finally happening, and that would be to get Oliver a girlfriend. Obviously, Oliver is neutered, and I do not want any bunny babies, but a bunny needs a friend. Usually, bunnies need a bunny companion, and Oliver is very, very affectionate and loves to spend time with me and spend time with my dogs, so I figured he'll probably appreciate an actual bunny friend to keep him company. So I had some criteria. I kept going back and forth about the breed and size of the bunny. I did check with people who are have more experience than me that it is okay to pair different size bunnies, and it can work really well. So I was just really trying to figure out if I wanted another huge bunny like Oliver. They're usually really calm and nice, but there's always the risk of getting a bunny that is not so easygoing. And obviously, two big bunnies means a lot of space needed, especially if I have to keep them separate for a longer time. So I ended up going with I guess they're called the Hollandlap in English. So a smaller bunny. And the other criteria was an adult that is in need of a home. So I wasn't going to a breeder for a baby bunny. I wanted to adopt a bunny that needs a home. And I found a girl. She's not spayed, she is vaccinated, and she's already 3 years old. Yeah, I'm really nervous about how they're going to get along. Pairing bunnies is usually a longer process. You can't just throw them in together. So I've been reading up on pairing them, and I think I know what I'm doing. But yeah, for now I have to keep myself busy the entire day, and then in the evening I'm gonna go get her. She will be traveling from quite far away. I think it's like 2 or 3 hours away, and then I'll pick her up and we'll have about an hour drive home. So I figured in the meantime, I think I should probably tell you what's been going on lately. As you can see, there is quite a bit of mess behind me because I've been keeping busy. And there's been a lot of updates, exciting updates. So, and I have been filming a lot of the process. So to understand what's happened here behind me, I think we have to go back to last month and look at what was going on back then.
we had finally signed the papers for the property, and we knew that all the work we do here is actually for us, it was time to start working on the house. It needed quite a bit of work, so quite a bit of decorating, and also at some point we will need to redo the windows because they're really old and in pretty bad shape. But as I said in my previous video, I am going to start with my art studio. Mainly because it's kind of urgent, because I need to work in this space and I do not want it to be pink. And this is also going to be an assignment for school, since I'm currently studying to become an interior artisan. So the first thing I decided to do was paint the ceiling white. Now I'm not a big fan of white in my interior, but I do want my ceiling to reflect as much light as possible back down on my working space, so that is why I decided to paint it white. I have also been doing a lot of planning and working behind the scenes on my art shop. So I had another school assignment. It was called a remake assignment, and we had to reuse materials to make a new product. And since I've been wanting to add some new art product to my art store, this was a good opportunity to test out some of the ideas I had. This kind of recycled fabric art skull doll, I guess you would call it, was one of the ideas I really wanted to test out.
And we'll try to link as much of it.
Now I do not think this is the product I will be going with, but it was good to test out the idea, and now I can move from here.
small girl and some stuff. And now I'm going to drive back home. It's a pretty gruesome snowstorm, so I really have to focus on driving all the way back home. But I'll update you when I get home. So we are now home and I'm just about to put her in her own little area, and I just, out of curiosity, let Oliver smell her a little bit, and he's just happily munching on some treats right next to her. I think she seemed a little interested in him. I'm not sure if she's still in too much of a shock, but he seems pretty chill with her being on his territory right now, or maybe he is just way too happy about the treats. But so far so good. I'm going to put her in her own space to calm down after her trip, and I'll introduce them when she's a little bit more acquainted with the space. He can definitely see her and smell her. He's still more interested in the treats I had. Oh, that's a little cutie. Such a good boy. So the bunnies have now been getting acquainted for a little bit. They are still getting used to each other, and I'm slowly starting to work on bonding, but it's really stressful and really scary, so I'll update you on that in probably the next video. But now it's back to working on my art studio. So it was finally time to rip out the pink wallpaper, and I was really excited about it, and it was actually quite satisfying work. I also decided to redo this lamp because it worked pretty well, but I'm planning on trying to have my accent color black, and then everything else will just be kind of very neutral tones and wood surfaces. But my working desk is black, and I'll see if I like it that way, and I think that this lamp will kind of tie it together a little bit more. And I do really like how it turned out. Next it was time to rip down this wall, or actually the sheets on top of it, because we had kind of peeked behind it and we were pretty certain that it was a full-on log wall. This is a log house, and there are a lot of these walls around the house, and at first there was full logs.
But sadly, as I got further, I realized that the rest of the wall was planks and not full logs. And that's probably because they needed to save some money and use cheaper materials. And that would be because this was not really a house for a rich farmer. This was a house that was built for the workers who took care of the animals on the farm. At least in the summer times, they would stay here with the animals. So obviously they're not going to put as much money into that house. So that was a bit of a disappointment, but we have some plans for this wall and how to make it look pretty still, so I'll probably show more of that in the next video. And that is it for this video. I really hope you liked it. So that's it for this video. I really hope you liked it. I hope you remember to subscribe and like and also leave a comment because I do love reading them. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!